Yes, the boys, welcome back to another video. Best to keep to once a week, so if it's not once a week, make sure you're on me because I'm slacking otherwise. But nah, I'll get that done easy. So in today's video, boys, I'm gonna go through my 5 main things that you have got to be doing in your gaining phase. Like 5 things that if you aren't doing, you're just not gonna get the most out of things, and it's as simple as that. So I'm gonna be breaking them down throughout this video, and then during push today, my chest is probably what's come up the most this gaining phase. Now, it's not where I want it to be, but it has definitely improved. So I'm gonna be breaking that down. So a lot of value incoming. Let's start off with my number 1 tip. So just for reference, started off this gaining phase 81 kilo. I'm now sitting 90.5. So we're a good 9.5 kilo up this gaining phase, and I'm happy with where I'm at. So tip number 1 is, without diving into macros, digestion, which will come maybe in that 5, consistency with the food. If you are not eating enough, boys, you are not gonna grow. Do not get caught up unless you are a complete beginner with the, oh, you can lose fat and build muscle game. Like, if you are in a gaining phase, unless you're trying to hold, and your scale has not gone up for a month, you need to be eating more. And it's as simple as that. So, the basic number 1, we've got to be getting that consistency with food. Set training day food, set non-training day food, keep drilling that. If scale weight is not going up and condition is still in a good place, we've got to be getting that food in. And then obviously the training side of things comes in, the digestion, the recovery comes into play, which I'm gonna go through with that other 5. But tip number 1, consistency with the food. You have to be doing that. I have not had one day this entire gaining phase where I have been under my calories. Not one, and that's when I've been ill. That's when appetite's been on the floor when I was ill. You've got to be getting that food in, boys. So that is tip number 1. Do not be slacking. And it is currently just before 11. Got a little bit more work to do. Check-ins are done for the day. Got some of the boys to reply to, and then we'll be off for a big push session. So like I said, I'll be breaking down how I've grown my chest this gaining phase, and the mistakes I used to make as well, the mistakes to avoid. So stay tuned, let's go. And I don't know if I've spoke that I finally got the mic, so I can just pick you up now, which is much better. So 1 a week videos, make sure you're subbed, make sure you give it a like. Let's go. Yes, bro, that's fine. And obviously, when it's the first time having it in, mate, form is like the main thing. So obviously watch the tutorial. Bro, those sessions are sorted now. Let's get it. Right, boys, we're getting the pre down. It is nearly gone. I need to hurry up. Tip number 2, digestion. A massive one. Obviously, I spoke about getting that food in before. I digest oats very well. So for me, that's perfect pre-workout. I don't want anything that's going to upset my stomach. I don't want to be bloated. A lot of people struggle a bit with oats, but they just sit super light with me. So I stick with that. I get them in post-workout. If digestion is a problem, a lot of the time, you've got a lot of processed just crap in there. Get rid of that. Clean up your diet a little bit first of all. Anything that you eat and you're like, right, I'm bloated, obviously, let's cut that out. Let's just get rid of that. Like, that's rule number 1. So tip number 2 is digestion. So obviously we had get the food in. Don't just have days under and waste time. Keep an eye on your digestion, boys. So I'm gonna get this down, get in the car, drive 45 minutes. I'll speak to you at the gym. If you wear hats, this is the key. I hate a fluffy hat. So these rollers, right, are the absolute key. So always before I go gym or before I go out, if I'm wearing a hat, I'll get the roller on there. So if you see me with fluff on the hat, I'm slacking. I think hats can look like scruffy, so if they're not in good nick, I hate it. So we roll them, we get them nice and clean, we're good to go. And like I said about 20 seconds ago, I need to hurry up. So I'm gonna stop talking about my hat, and I'm gonna grow my chest and talk about that. Let's have it. Right, boys, we have arrived for push. So the reason I am at this gym is because the kit I can use is unbelievable. Like literally for my chest now, those 6 sets, prime pec deck, prime flat, incline Atlantis, like they are unreal. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm using this. That's why, you know, it is a bit of a trek. I do have to get up early, make sure, you know, all work is done, because that is the main thing. And then obviously I need to hurry up and get home because I've got a lot more to do. But the time I have here, you know, I've got a good hour and a half always to get that nailed. I make sure I've got enough time for that. And you know, once a week it's manageable. Any more than that, it'd just be too much out of my day. But I'm looking forward to it, and it's a nice place to film as well. It's never too busy. It's nice and clear in there. So it's good all around. So I'm going to get in there and get it nailed, boys. So same session as normal. The only thing since I filmed this last time, I do the pec deck now first, just so I can get more out of that, get my pec short, especially on that prime piece. It's not been taking away anything from my presses either. So that's going to be tip number 3, is stick with the same sessions, boys. You need to progress your training, right? How do we know for sure we're applying progressive overload, right? We need to be applying a progressive stimulus to grow. So if you lay out the sessions perfectly, do them with good form, and then you beat them week after week after week after week. As long as, like the first 2 tips, you're getting the food in, you're keeping digestion on point, do the same movements, get good at them. That is when you are going to grow, boys. That's when you're really, really going to grow and see a difference there. You know, if I use the flat prime today and then don't use it again for another 6 weeks, I'm not going to progress that. I'm not going to be good at that movement. So get it in weekly and get nailing it. That's tip number 3. We'll get the other 2 after we've trained. For now, the main talk is how I'm going to set this session up, and I'll show you, but it's that intensity, it's the accuracy, and it's how I've grown my chest, as this is a chest focused push session. But obviously first up, we're getting laterals nailed. I have added in another lateral as well, so there's a little bit changed if you did watch me train push here last. Let's go. Always before push, you'll see me do the same warm-up. So I actually snapped my band, any band, just outside shoulder width. I'll do a good 10 overhead backs. I've already actually done these. I'll do about 10 of those. I'll get some blood in my upper back rear delts, and then I'll just do some flies, some little presses, just get blood around there, around my chest, around my upper back. Get my rotator cuff warm with the over and backs. That's usually good for me. I've never had any injuries with training at all, so that gets me warm enough to get cracking. And then all I'll do, obviously because it's first movement with the lateral, take my time getting warmed up. I'll do a good 2 or 3 warm-up sets. Probably first one, 8 reps, 6 reps, 4 reps, as the weight gets up, and then I'll get into the working. So with the warm-ups as well, like they're literally just that. I ain't taking them anywhere close to failure. So make sure, you'll hear me talk about this all the time, you're not just wasting energy on your warm-ups because, you know, they're not working sets. They're literally just feeder sets. So do as much as you can to get warm, but save as much energy as you can to then go into that working set like I'm ready to go now. My side delts are fresh, I'm ready to go. So that's the key. So I'll look what I got last week. So I got 30 for 7 and 20 for 15. So I'm gonna try beat 730. I'll move that 20 up to 25. I've always had, for the past 2 years, a lateral in before I press, and that way I'm nice and warm. My shoulders are switched on, my shoulders are warm. Never had any pec injuries, never had any shoulder injuries, so getting that in first, I think is very valuable. I think if anything, it adds to my press, doesn't take away from it. Let's beat 7. So that was 8 reps, up 1. That's perfect, we'll take that. So on to good old prime pec deck, favorite pec deck I've used, just because you can adjust the resistance profile depending on where I do have it into the session, you can change that. So all we're focusing on here is just that ability to fully shorten the pec and get that done whilst we're fresh at the beginning. So if I can take 2 sets to failure here, I'm gonna get a lot more out of that than what I was doing with it at the end. Now you do not have to have this first. There'll probably be times where I move this later on in the session again, but right now, this is working really well. So I'm gonna keep on running with it. So I've got a couple warm-up sets now. You'll see, allowing a little bit of elbow flexion in that lengthened, just literally keeping that chest big, upper arms across. I'm literally trying to imagine I'm touching my elbows together. So I'm literally in here, contracting hard, like actually squeezing hard, keeping all that tension on my chest, not coming into a passive range, staying in that active range. Same thing, getting that chest as short as possible and keeping nice control. So I'll do another warm and then I'll show you my top set. Up in weight today, I got 11 reps last time and I want to be around 8 to 10 for this top set. And that's another thing, if you've got a set rep range, don't stop if you've got more in the tank. Like if I've got an 8 to 10 and I can get 11, I'll still go for that 11. I'll just make sure like now I move up in load. So you'll see, boys, intensity is not just with those bigger sets like my 2 presses. I want to take this to complete failure with control. So you're going to see that now. I want at least 8 reps and I'm leaving nothing in the tank. reps, boys. Perfect. So I just dropped 20 kilo on my foot, boys. Loading this prime. I'm trying to play it cool. My foot is broken. Whoa, I literally might have broke my foot, boys. With a broken foot, lads. And then I've got just over 3 plates now on it. So warm up for this with just over 3 plates. I'll do 1 plate like I just did for like 8 reps. My chest is already a bit warmer now as well, just because I've done pec. So that for 8 reps. I'll do 2 plates for 6. Then I'll probably do 3 plates for literally 1 or 2, just to feel something heavier. And then I'm ready to go. So 3 warm-ups, no way near failure, saving that energy then for my working set, which is just over 3 plates. So I'm going green block. I can start in that active range. I don't want to snap my shoulder at the start of the set. And the reason why I've got these blocks here as well, because the actual bench is quite high off the floor, it just means I can really drive in still, like I don't have to be on my tiptoes. I can really drive into them blocks, and in terms of stability, that's going to be massive for getting more out of it. So even though it's a press, and yes, the main contact point is the bench, stability to the floor is still paramount. So I need to get 8 reps here if we can. So we've got to be bang up for these. Intensity has to be there. So that was 8 reps. And the good thing about this is, because I've got it loaded at the top, I know that's going to drop off a little bit. But as this gets heavier, it is feeling a little bit uncomfortable. I've had it in for probably 8 weeks. Like that. You don't need a spot on your serratus press up. Press up.
Would you like a spot for it?
I'll pay you. So I was just saying to Morgan then, I might swap this out now and do the flat Atlantis, just because I'm loading this so heavy now. We've had it in for a good 8 to 10 weeks. Like, I could keep running with it, but because it is so wide, like the Prime kit is unreal, but because it's so wide, I feel like when it's getting heavier, I'm really feeling that, and I don't want to risk hurting myself there. It just felt a little bit uncomfortable then. So we'll see how back off feels. Might stick with. I'll keep you up to date with what I go with and why I'm making that change. So I don't make a change just for no reason. You know, I like running stuff into the ground and then changing it. So we'll see. But that was 8 reps. Wasn't too happy with that. I think they can be a little bit cleaner. And now we've got to beat 12. And that's the first thing with chest, like form. I've been keeping an eye on massively. So anything like that I know isn't 100%, I'm thinking, right, do we need another option to get them perfect, or do I just need to bring that load down and get them perfect from there? So that's what we'll consider. But if you know you're pressing load you just shouldn't be, like I did for years, strip it back. Like I've, with a lot of this incline press now, I've stripped that back the past few weeks. Got it perfect. That's made a big difference this gaining phase. 4 plates again, 8 plus 1 last time, so we need a clean 9 at least.
Good. That's it. Right, drive.
We'll go one more.
Let's go. Yep.
Little bit. Yeah.
Oh, you go.
Oh,
Good shit.
So with the presses, boys, the main thing I've been working on is actually keeping all of that load through my chest. So not just dropping into them eccentrics, not letting them elbows flare out, keeping full control, keeping that rib cage slightly elevated, bracing, and just driving through and keeping my shoulders back, not letting my shoulders take over. That's something I've definitely done in the past. When I'm literally controlling those eccentrics, so I'm in control of every inch. You'll see, especially on that incline press, flat press wasn't good enough, looking back. Controlling that, driving through,
and keeping that chest big, keeping that rib cage slightly elevated, and keeping your shoulders out of it. Don't let them elbows flare out, and don't bring them upper arm forward. If you do that, you are going to grow your chest so much more. Like, yes, could I press an extra 10 kilo aside on both if I just bang them out? Yes. Is that going to grow me a bigger chest? No, it's not. Is that giving me more of a chance of getting injured? Yes, it is as well. So that's chest done. Stick to them rules. You'll be flying. And I've got triceps to nail now. So starting off with a D handle tricep extension. So goal of this, literally keep that upper arm locked. Keep all of that tension through my triceps. I've got 3 sets of these, and then I've got a long rope tricep extension just to bring a little bit more of that medial head into play. So we'll get cracking on with these, and then I've got a lateral to finish, and then I'll talk through a little bit about the session. So you'll see now when I'm using these rope attachments, not my D handles, I'm keeping my hips pushed back to start, keeping them upper arms pinned back. So even though they're both a tricep extension with a cable, they're gonna be different. So you'll see the difference now with this working set. And same thing, I've got 3 sets, so 6 sets, 3 of each. Fuck. Absolutely love that. Everything felt bang on apart from that flat press. I'm gonna have a look at switching out. It's just feeling a little bit off now as it gets heavier. So let's go through tip number 4 and then I'll head off home. So tip number 4 is your intensity, boys. You'll see I'm trying to take them sets as far as I can possibly go. I'm not leaving anything in the tank. So a lot of you will just not be training hard enough, and it's because you've not got control of the movements. You can't actually safely get to failure because you're not in full control. Keep full control. Start taking them sets at least closer to failure. I guarantee you, boys, you will get a lot more out of your training. You are going to grow a lot more muscle doing that. The first thing I see a lot when clients send me their first ever form videos is intensity just isn't there. So make sure you are nailing that. So far, food consistency, digestion, what was number 3? Stick with them movements and run them into the ground. Keep that intensity there. And we'll go for number 5 when I'm back home. Let's get me home, boys. And whilst we are here, coaching spaces are available, boys. If you want to jump on a call with me, have a chat about your goals, the link is in TikTok, Instagram bio, Lukewhitneycoach, or just give me a message. We can have a chat. Got back, boys, to a delivery. At the moment, these are the training webs. They're getting a bit dirty. I need to wash them. So we've got some new bad boys. Let's open them up. These are fire. So as you've just seen, I've got white. Now we've got some black. We're rolling with the TNs. I think these are unbelievable. So we're about to jump on a Zoom call with the boys. Do this every Monday. So I'm looking forward to that. Tip number 5 is take your rest. In a gaining phase, you're training hard, you're doing all the things I've spoke about. Training is going to be taxing. Make sure you are taking your rest days. That is ridiculously important. Do not be training every day. If you are training every single day, you are not training hard enough. I'd recommend at least 2 rest days, or maybe 1 if you're an absolute animal and you can handle it, but do not overdo it. Take your rest. That is so important. So do those 5 things. You're going to be absolutely flying. I'm going to jump on this call now. Please drop me a like, drop me a comment. What do we want to see, boys? Make sure you're subscribed, and I will catch you in the next one.